Inside this unassuming white box is an eBay scam thumb drive that claims to have 1,950 gigabytes of total storage. But can you even get something like that for $13? Is that even possible? Let's find out in this video. Hello world, my name is Andy Silvers. I am an author, YouTuber, and filmmaker. This channel is not currently monetized, so if you would like to support me, please consider checking out one of my books available at the links in the video description. They make awesome Christmas gifts. In this video, we're going to talk about this tiny, unassuming thumb drive. This thumb drive I purchased off of eBay, and the thumb drive claims to be a 2 terabyte USB 3 flash drive. But is it really? Because when I paid for it, it was only about $13 plus tax. The first thing you'll probably want to know is, what's the story behind this drive? Well, I got it on eBay just a few weeks ago from a listing called HomeMG231. Although there are a number of listings for drives like this, they're not the only ones selling these. And it claims to be 2 terabytes of USB 3 flash storage. I got it for about $13, and the drive, interestingly, does not appear to have a brand name, like SanDisk, Samsung, Lexar, etc. It just appears to be a nameless thumb drive from a mystery brand, which is the first clue that there's something up. It also claims to be 2 terabytes, which, if you're tech savvy, is the second clue that something is up. However, even though it seems like it would be an obvious red flag, there are obviously a lot of people who buy these kinds of products from all sorts of websites. The first thing you might be tempted to say is, well, of course it's fake. You got it on eBay. But the truth is, listings like this also appear on a number of reputable sites, including Amazon.com. You can find scam products, including scam storage drives, all over the internet, not just on eBay. So, I got this drive, I unboxed it. There was basically nothing in the packaging except a little bit of plastic. And I decided to do some early analysis and testing. The first thing I did was examine the drive. Off the bat, it actually seems pretty legit because it's all metal housing. It's got this space gray finish, which actually looks really snazzy. And on the inside here, you can see there's this blue plastic insert. This blue plastic insert is supposed to indicate USB 3, which on the seller's list is what they list it as. However, it does not have the proper contacts for USB 3, and more importantly, the speeds are nowhere near USB 3 speeds. Now, the listing has been updated since last when I actually purchased it, and they are slightly honest on here, putting that the transfer speed varies between 25 and 60 megabits or megabytes a second, and write speed between 10 and 30 megabytes a second, which is fairly accurate. However, that's not USB 3 speeds, so you're already seeing a contradiction on the site. The last thing I want to note before we actually get into the real-world tests is that on the site they clarify that the drive is closer to 1,950 to 1,960 gigabytes. This part alone is not inherently a scam. Every drive that says it's a certain number, let's say it says 1 terabyte, or 512 gigabyte, or whatever number, is going to be a little bit less than that due to the fact that pretty much every drive will leave some space unallocated to allow the transfer of data more easily. Is it possible to put 2 terabytes worth of storage on something this small? Well, in theory, yes. This right here, this teeny tiny little thing, is a Samsung micro SD card. This particular one is 128 gigabytes. However, I have found reputable products from Amazon, from companies like Samsung and SanDisk, that claim to be about 512 gigabytes. Now, it appears to be the maximum relative size. So, if you imagine, okay, that this is a 512 gig micro SD card, which it isn't, but they do exist, and you stick it on top of this thumb drive, you can see, yeah, you can easily fit 4 of these in here for a total of 2 approximate terabytes of storage. So it's not completely unreasonable to think that in theory you could have 2 terabytes of NAND flash inside of something this small. However, did they actually do that? Well, that's where the real world testing begins. So when we open up the drive, we open it up, and I gave it a custom name. I gave it the name 2000 gigabyte because that's what it advertises to be. So that's not how it came out of the box. But I didn't change anything else. What I did was I went in and I formatted it first because obviously I was a little bit nervous about, malicious software that may or may not be on here. So I formatted it to try to remove any software that might be hidden on there. And then I began the test. The test is extremely simple. All it involves is me creating a custom folder. So I'm a YouTuber, so I have a lot of YouTube video files, as you might imagine. So I took one of those files and I purposefully deleted a couple videos so that I got down to exactly 50 gigabytes for the folder. Then I copied those folders over to the drive. However, what I did was I started with a video. So I have a video that you should check out on this channel. It's a Lenovo laptop review. It's this laptop in front of me, actually. I reviewed it, and it's one of my most popular videos. Please check that out. But anyway, I took that video file, and I put it on the thumb drive first. And then I played it back to see if it appeared to work. And it did. I'll explain later why I did this, but let's just say that next I started with those 50 gigabyte files. So I hit copy and paste, and because this drive is so darn slow, it took forever. It took over an hour for this garbage to copy over. And eventually it did, and everything appeared to be on the up and up. So I did it one more time with a second folder. I copied over another 50 gigabytes over to the drive, and everything appeared to be on the up and up. It actually wasn't, but it did appear to be on the surface level. For those keeping track at home, if I have 3 50 gigabyte files, that's a total of 150 gigabytes, plus the Lenovo Legion review video, which is 1.2, so we'll say 1. So basically 151 total gigabytes of storage, of information. However, as you can see on the screen, when I got to the final drive, I got some error warnings, essentially, saying that the data may not actually be able to copy over. So I clicked skip for all the files that didn't want to go over. And in the end, the drive was not completely full. So this is the first hint that something is really wrong. And indeed it was. However, what I decided to do was actually take the drive out and put it back in, just to kind of reset it. And indeed, it did actually kind of reset because I got a notification saying there was a problem with the disk, which is definitely true. So I clicked on the notification and I allowed Windows to repair the drive. Unfortunately, Windows' solution to repair it was to delete all corrupted files, which meant emptying out folder number 3. So the 50 gigabyte test file folder was emptied, which is good in some sense because those files were corrupted, but it means I wasn't able to figure out what the actual capacity of the drive was. So I had to delete all the video files that I had put on there, and, well, not all of them. I had to delete the last several, including folder number 3, and redo it, and I got the same result. Now, here's what I did. In the end, to figure out how many gigabytes of actual storage were actually on the drive, I took every folder and I opened it. And I found every corrupted file and deleted them. I deleted the corrupted files permanently and only kept the files that would actually play. The video files that would actually play. And in the end, the folder says that it's 96 or closer to 97 gigabytes, but it actually isn't. That takes into account the corrupted files that aren't actually there. Instead, in order to figure out the actual capacity, I highlighted just the contents of the folder or the drive itself, and calculated right around 59 gigabytes. So knowing that there's about a gigabyte or so of unallocated space on every drive, that means the actual real-life storage capacity of the drive is 64 gigabytes, not 128, not half a terabyte, and certainly not the advertised 1.95 terabytes. So 100% proven to be a scam. But how is this possible? Well, first off, if you look at the drive information, there actually isn't any information. There's nothing in the drive that tells you the manufacturer. It is a ghost manufacturer. And I did a test with, for instance, this Samsung drive. This is a really high quality USB 3.1 Samsung drive. This one, when you go into the properties of the drive, it'll actually tell you it's a Samsung drive. And likewise, I tested it on a SanDisk thumb drive, same thing. I was able to find pretty quickly the manufacturer of the drive. With this ghost drive, there was no manufacturer because I guess no one wants to take credit for this nonsense. So the question is, what's happening in this drive? So the first thing is that the drive has been set up to lie essentially to Windows 11, 10, whatever. So obviously, when you go into the About under Properties, it tells you. It says capacity 1.9 terabytes. And then it'll tell you how much free space and used space. This is the reason that you can keep copying data to it. So take a look in this quick video. You can see what I've done is I've taken a drive that I believe has 32 gigabytes of storage, but it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this demonstration. And I've attempted to copy way more data than the drive actually has space for. And you'll notice a pop-up saying, look, you can't copy this data. You need this many gigabytes more space in order to copy this data. That is what a drive should tell you in Windows 11 if there's not enough space. This mysterious ghost drive doesn't say that. So obviously it's because Windows thinks it has more space. It thinks it has more than 64 gigabytes of capacity. However, I want to talk about my methodology real quick. So the very first thing I did was I put a Legion review video on there. The reason I did this is because I was expecting something that didn't quite happen. Some scam drives have a sort of slightly more advanced, I don't know how to say it, methodology for making you think the drive is legitimate. What they will do is they will allow you to copy over data endlessly, essentially, and then they will delete data in the background. So as you're copying over, let's say 100 gigabytes worth of new info, it will be deleting, let's say 50 to 75 gigabytes worth of info in the background. So when you click on the files that you first put on there, they'll not only not be there, they'll be corrupted because they were deleted in the background without your permission or knowledge. So I thought maybe that's what was happening here. But the answer is no. That is definitively not what's happening. This is actually a much lazier solution. They don't have the ability to do that, or at least they chose not to. So instead, it's pretty simple. You copy it over, and then once you hit the like, I don't know, 100 gigabytes of fake capacity, it will not be there. For example, I took some pictures at Walmart to show you some real drives and how much capacity they have as compared to the price. And you can see the price for a 256 gig drive is substantially more than this scam drive. Yet, the scam drive claims to have what, like more than 8 times the storage for less money, for less than half the price? The drive manufacturer, or seller more accurately, they don't think you're going to catch on to them because what they think is you're going to copy over 64 gigabytes or less of data in the first 30 days or so, and everything's going to work just like you'd expect it to because there is actually some storage on here. And then you're going to use the drive and be happy and then just kind of ignore it. And by the time you actually copy over enough data to realize the drive is fake, your 30-day refund window will have expired. You will have no more time to actually put in a refund request. And it'll be too late for you to do anything practically about it. And eBay can't really do a whole lot about it because you should have the right to sell whatever you want. And there are some situations where a drive might actually have 2 terabytes Maybe not a thumb drive per se, unless it's very, very large, but there are some situations where it could. It is not practical for eBay to police all these drives. And it is very easy for people who are older or people who are not tech savvy to be looking for something for themselves or a gift for Christmas. And they're like, wow, $13 or so for 2 terabytes? I know my son said he really wanted a lot of storage, so this is what I'm going to get him. And then it turns out it's a scam. But by the time the son actually figures it out, the refund window has long since expired. However, I want to note that the seller actually has a comment in their page saying something about how before you try to return it, before you request from eBay for a return, please contact them with any questions. The reason for this is likely so that they can lie to you and tell you, no, actually it's user error. You're doing it wrong, you see. You just don't understand how the drive works. You don't have to waste your time messing with it. If it's eBay or Amazon, they have pretty robust return policies. So take advantage of those before the window runs out. Be aware of scam drives like this and other scam electronics. If the price seems too good to be true, it's probably not true. Thank you for watching this video. Please please share this video with friends and family members, especially around the holiday season where it can be tempting to purchase something that seems really good at a good price like this. And I will see you in the next video.